How's it going, fellow traders? It's Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC report for the data that was recorded on December 22nd, 2020. So, let's take a look at gold and see what the institutions have been doing. So price contacted this monthly area of demand, which we've had located on our charts for many months now. And as price came down, it reacted, so that's the institutions buying right there. And right here, this big tall green candle here represents the data that we're going to be looking at. And what do we see here? An increase in longs from 340 to 349,000. That's a big increase in longs. At the same time, they slightly increased their shorts from 69 to 71. So that's enough to keep long exposure at 83%. Bottom line is net positions rallied up from 271 to 278. So that's a good sign for a continued move to the upside to come. Now we'll take a look at oil. What do we see with oil? Price was rallying up here on oil, and as it did, they increased longs from 664 to 665. Not much of a move, but take a look at this. 150 down to 139. That's a significant drop, enough to increase long exposure from 82% to 83%. Okay, now we're still inside this area of supply on the monthly chart. So we could see some resistance, and we have been seeing some resistance in throughout here. But what we're seeing over the longer period of time is price is going to be making a move even higher. Alright, let's go to the US dollar. What do we see here? Price was dropping, and they closed off long positions. And remember, back on December 8th, they had 23, then 14, now 13. So they're closing long positions. At the same time, shorts are aggressive, but we're not seeing them increasing shorts at this point. Okay, important to know that. Not at this point. They're closing off longs. Look at the coloration. Red. That's telling us they are bearish right now. And we look at the net positions, negative 14,000. That's pretty significant considering where we have been. So it looks like over time we will be seeing price drop. In the short term, we could get a bounce, but over the longer term, we are expecting more downside. Okay, Aussie, we see them increase longs from 45 to 53,000. That came as price was rallying up here on the weekly chart. At the same time, they increased shorts from 55 to 57. Now, I will point out that shorts are the aggressor right now. Okay, and we are very high up on the charts, and we are actually contacting some supply. So it's an interesting thing here. We're contacting supply, and shorts are the aggressor. If we take a look at the coloration of the cells here, we can see that they've been somewhat neutral all throughout here, and then slowly becoming just a little bit more bearish here. Not completely bearish, but somewhat bearish. And if you look at the net positions, they have been bearish. So we could see at some point price turnover and drop, but we're not seeing the momentum slow as of yet. So until that happens, we are still expecting more upside. USCAD, we see a big drop right here, 55 to 33,000. Now, contracts expired around the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was December 13th. So they would have shifted their positions before that, okay, before the 15th. So December 15th represented what positions the institutions had after contracts expired. So as price was consolidating here on the weekly, what did they do? They closed off a large portion of their long positions. Interesting. Now we do know that the coast is clear for a move lower. We've been talking about this for quite some time. The coast is clear, meaning all the obstacles the institutions needed to remove in order to let price go further down, they have been removed. So interesting to take note of that and look at what we have here. Big increase. The sentiment is clearly bearish, and we look at net positions, they're bearish. This is only 1 week's data, so I'd like to see a couple more weeks supporting this. But overall, like I've been saying, we are expecting a move to the downside. There could be a short-term bounce to the upside, but over the longer term we are expecting more downside. US Swiss franc increase in longs as price was dropping here on the weekly chart, and an increase in shorts from 17 to 23,000. That's a big significant increase. And that was coming as price was dropping down. So price is dropping down, they increased their shorts into very aggressive territory. At the same time, they're increasing longs. Is that increase in longs in preparation for a slight rally to the upside? That's possible, okay? To quantify that possibility, it's difficult to say. But what I will point out is very aggressive with the shorts here. So it was very bearish, and now we're turning into a little bit more neutral. That could be the beginning of a slight move to the upside. Okay, but overall, longer term, we are expecting price to make its way down. Okay, so now let's take a look at the euro. What do we see with the euro? So the euro price was rallying up on the weekly chart, and we see an increase in longs. Are we surprised? No, we're not. They're increasing longs from 218 to 222 as price was rallying up on the weekly chart. At the same time, they increased shorts from 76 to 78. So we're kind of seeing something similar here amongst all the pairs, right? We're seeing a slight indication that there might be a reversal against the powers that are currently in play. For instance, the powers here are obviously to the upside. And I will point out that we have a situation where supply by the institutions is being contacted. Now, this supply is only going to act as a speed bump from what we're seeing on the charts and what we're seeing on the data. Meaning that there could be a reaction from this area, but over the longer term, we are expecting more upside on the charts. Okay, when we do the Sherlock analysis on all the charts, it's clear that the momentum is shifting to the upside. Higher time frame forces are pushing price to the upside, and this area of supply is going to act as like a speed bump. Okay, it's going to slow things down, but eventually we are expecting more upside. And again, the interesting thing is what we're seeing here in terms of the opposing position. Might see a little bit of downside build from here, but over the longer term, we are expecting more upside. Pound. It contacted supply here, removed it. Let's take a look at shorts. Cooled off. Let's take a look at longs. Building after last week. 35 to 37 increase. Let's take a look at what we have here. The sentiment. You see it's starting to turn green? We could see a breakout and a move up. We have upside targets up here in the 140s. So we do see very strong potential for price to continue higher. Is it going to stall out a little bit more and drop before? That's possible. But over the longer term, we are expecting more upside. US dollar Japanese yen, price dropped. What happened? They increased shorts from 65 to 66, okay? In line with what we were expecting. Also, the short exposure rallied up from 75 to 76, but recently it was 80. So not doing much in terms of that. What we can see though is that shorts are the aggressor, longs are cooled off, the sentiment is bearish, we are expecting more downside. It's going to take some time because we are responding to demand, and it'll take some time for that demand to be eaten through and allow price to drop even further. Now with the Kiwi, we see price was consolidating here at the highs, and hardly any movement on the long positions, but a slight increase in shorts. And I'll point out here, we're seeing bullishness. Okay, bullishness, but price is at the highs. Does that mean price can continue higher? Absolutely. But considering what we're seeing with the other charts, it looks like there's a good chance that we're going to see a slight move to the downside. I'm not saying that it's going to happen because it would be very difficult to say that at this time. We're not contacting supply. There's nothing to dictate that price should drop. But we are seeing signs in the other pairs that there could be a rollover. So that might translate to a slight decrease in price here on the Kiwi. Alright, ladies and gents, so that is your CFTC report for the data that was recorded December 22nd. You know how to reach us, www.whiteoakfx.com. Hope you're having a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.